Okay, guys, I was a bonehead and I didn't start recording, but I guess what? I'm doing it now. More listings. That's what it's all about more deals, and that's what we're going to talk about. Jeff, you had a question on, we're going to go over who to call, what to say, how to schedule the appointment, and how to transition. Your question, how to transition to a Zoom listing presentation. And your question was, do I have a presentation? You bet I do. And I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to show you exactly what I say when I'm prospecting, who I'm prospecting, of course, and how I'm scheduling the appointment, because prospecting is about scheduling the appointment. That's it. Then we transition to a Zoom presentation. And that's, like I said, I haven't stepped in a home since March of 2020, at least for a listing presentation. Sure, I've seen the home after everything's said and done, but I'm doing everything I can to be more efficient and more effective with my business. My wife and I traveled the country in our RV for 2+ years, and you have to be very efficient taking listings in San Diego when you're in Kentucky, for example. So I'm fine tuning it every single day. My hope that you see some value, and by all means, I'm open to any suggestions, but I think this is a pretty good setup I have. So Jeff, to your question, yes, I'll show you my presentation here in just a second. I'm going to stop sharing, go to some more questions, so then we can bang that stuff out. What other questions do we have, guys?
Do you do with only doing 14-day process, do you order new photos and plan out any marketing?
Typically, I only use 5 photos on my listings. One great one outside front, one great one outside back yard, and even if there's nothing there, I still get the best photo possible. Then I'll do 3 inside photos. I do a lot of investor properties, so a lot of mine are vacant, not staged. I don't stage. I don't do fancy photo shoots if at all possible. Sometimes you get a seller that has to have the photo shoot, but my whole process, I want to drive people to my websites first through pricing. Then I want to drive them to my property through open house. Because if there's 50 photos on there, a lot of the questions could get answered. But if there's 5, one that you can see if you drive by, so that eliminates that one. 4 others, 3 great photos inside, bedroom, bath, living room, family room, whatever. The 3 best photos, kitchen, always a good one. The 3 best photos. And if there's no furniture in it, I have my wife, she stages them for me, AI. It's super simple. And then I have one at the back, because I want to drive people to the home. They see, wow, these 3 photos really look good. I want to know more. Great, show up to the open house, because the magic is having that line of people at the open house. So I don't do anything fancy. Now, if I get a for sale by owner, and I don't know if you've called for sale by owners before, but their photos are usually really bad. I mean, it's like there's a thumb in one photo, and there's you got the dog, and you got all, you can't. There's not great photos. So we'll get really nice photos. I have a killer camera, one of those Canon EOSs, and I'll take some nice photos. You can even take it. Nowadays the iPhone has an even better camera, so you can take your own photos. So that's what I do with photos. Hope that answers your question there. And in terms of marketing, I spend 0. I spend no money. I let the IDX take hold, go to every single real estate website on the planet. And because of our pricing strategy, that is what drives the website traffic. That's what drives the open house traffic, the by appointment only open house traffic. That's what drives the offers. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Cool. What other questions? I've got Gary, I'll send you that link. We talked about that. Jeff, we're going to talk about agent attraction, and I'll weave it into the presentation and kind of explain what we're doing there. Any other questions before I go into who to call, what to say, how to schedule the appointment, and then ultimately the listing presentation that includes myself, the seller, and my visual presentation. This is something, once you see it, you can't unsee it, in my opinion. Listing presentations are visual. Phone conversations about their listing is very, very difficult to see the success. You can hear it, but you can't see it. Once you see it, it's like, oh, this is great, or this is terrible, whatever their feedback is. So that's what I'll do is I'll show you what we do. Okay, so the first thing we would talk about when we're calling. The first thing we're doing, I use My Plus Leads. Now you can go to Zillow for free and go to buy, go down to for sale by owner in your county and pull up all the for sale by owners on Zillow. You could literally have a conversation this second. You can mute yourself off this call a FSBO and have a conversation just like that. But what I say, hi, my name is Robert, calling about your property at 123 Main Street. Is it still available? I want to go short and to the point. It's a very simple yes or no. Is it available? Yes or no? Yes, it's available. Fantastic. If I was to bring you an offer at a price that was acceptable, are you willing to pay the standard 3% buyer compensation? Now I say standard and I say 3, that's me. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I do. Standard guides them to what I want to make. Standard, they oftentimes, sure, sounds good for an offer that's acceptable. That's a rhetorical question. Now, every time I say, if I was to bring you an offer at a price that was acceptable, are you willing to compensate? They always say, well, if the offer makes sense, well, let me spell it out if it checks all your boxes. It's the offer that you've been praying for. Now here it is. Are you willing to compensate? Doesn't matter what they say. Yes, no, doesn't matter. Great. When can we jump on a quick Zoom call to go over your property in more detail? Oh, I don't do Zoom. That sounds like a blow off. If you ever walked onto a car lot and the first thing you do, you get surrounded by 3 or 4 salespeople, and the first thing you say is, I'm just looking. You want to get rid of them. I don't do Zoom is one of those. I don't want to do Zoom translates into I'm not that motivated. If I'm motivated, the right motivation, I'm going to meet with that agent. I'm going to at least hear what they have to say. It's a click of a button, and if you don't like what you see, you can hop off real quick. It's a lot better than having somebody come over to your home. Now you're going, oh my God, I wish I could get these guys out. It's a much easier process. If you explain how easy meeting the seller on Zoom is, hey, I just have a few questions. It takes me about 3 to 5 minutes. I just need more information about your home. And who better to tell me than the seller? The seller is the best person to tell me everything about the home. Now, because a lot of you have the iList cash offers, I typically, when I'm preparing for a presentation, I'm calling FSBOs, expireds, pre-foreclosures. That's where I start. That's the easiest, the lowest hanging fruit. You can go to My Plus Leads, and I'll drop a link in the chat if you don't have My Plus Leads, but it's the best. Or you can just go to Zillow and type in buy, type in your county, and hit all the FSBOs. Now, you don't have as many. You need numbers. You need volume. You need to call a lot of folks to get enough appointments. You call 100 people in a week, you get 20 relationship conversations. 5 of those will say, yes, I'll meet with you. 2 actually do, and 1 listing. That's a week. That's okay. I'm good. But you need the numbers of contacts. Every agent in the world's calling FSBO expired pre-foreclosures. But if you have a message that resonates with that for sale by owner, for example, you want this much money and you're willing to pay this much for that offer. Great. Our platform, the Seller Assist Cash Offers platform, allows the buyer to be compensated by the buyer. That's a good thing. Sellers love that. They only want to pay a certain amount of commission and they want to get their sales price. We're going to show them exactly how to do it in 14 days. Who to call? FSBO expired pre-foreclosure. What to say? Hi, this is Robert calling about your property at 123 Main Street. Is it still available? Yes, it is. Or no, it's not. A lot of expireds will say, no, it's not available. Because technically it's an expired and it's technically not available, but they're interviewing agents, other agents, hopefully. I mean, going back to the other previous agent after 6 months is, I think, the definition of insanity, unless they lower that price greatly, because it's all about price. But they're in the process of interviewing agents. I'd just go, if I was to bring you an offer at a price that was acceptable, are you willing to pay the standard 3% buyer compensation? And whatever they say is fine. If they say, no, I'm not paying any commission, absolutely zero. Fantastic. When can we jump on a quick Zoom call to go over your property in more detail? But Robert, they're not offering compensation. That doesn't matter. I need to know, they need to see what I have to offer them. I feel very confident it's the best out there, but I'm not going to be able to show them unless I get them on a call. I'm not going to be able to show them, explain how I'm doing. And oftentimes that whole commission, I'm not paying commission conversations out the window. They see what we're doing. Boom, here we go. It's the only way to go. So if you're using iList for cash offers, you run the cash offers before you go live in the market, run those cash offers. And as soon as you go live on the 14-day platform, you can bring your offers right into it. Those offers become transparent. There's a process to that. And I don't put them transparent before the open house, because what happens if you put all these offers before the open house and it's transparent, you're going to knock off some buyers that, oh, they've already got offers. Never mind. I don't want to come. It's already above what I'm willing to pay. We don't go live with any offers until Monday after the open house weekend. So I have a process of that, and I'd be more than happy to dive into it. But recap, who to call, right? FSBO expired pre-foreclosures using My Plus Leads or whatever you use. Zillow's free. You could literally do it right now. Number two, you want to go into your iList cash offers, run those cash offers, but get the appointment first. I don't do anything without getting the appointment. If I see a lead, I don't do any research other than what's in front of me, value, what they expired at. I mean, I've seen so many expired at $1 million, value 850. I see it all the time. It's crazy. That's kind of an indication of why it's expired. You can see that going in. So you don't need to do a bunch of research. So many agents dive down this rabbit hole. Next thing you know, their whole day's gone and they're doing all this research on a maybe appointment. Contact them, schedule the appointment. I schedule using Calendly. You go right into Calendly and schedule it right there. If I was to bring you an offer, the price was acceptable, so on and so forth. Yes, great. When can we jump on a quick Zoom call? You know what? I'll be willing to meet with you on Zoom. That's fine. Just dive a few minutes. If you're getting some reluctance, it's just going to take 3 to 5 minutes, because the more I know about your home, the more offers, the more realistic offers I can bring you. But I don't have enough information yet. Oh, everything's in Zillow. I don't need all the good stuff. I can see that. I need to know the bad stuff. I need to know where the bodies are buried. I need to know, do you have a home inspection? Is the seller doing a carry? Is there any kind of health and safety issues? You need to go through that with the property. We'll walk you through the photos, and then you and I will go through that home. You'll tell me, walk me through your home. 3 to 5 minutes, that's all it takes. And then if I get somebody that's just a nightmare to work with or is way too much on their price, I don't know about you, but I don't typically have a lot of patience for people like that, because I truly know I'm doing them a service. This is the best thing out there, and I can't work with everyone. I'm a no nonsense, tell me what time it is, not how the clock was built kind of guy. And sometimes my personality doesn't work with somebody that's just an ass. And that's okay. You don't have to work with everyone. I find that the people that are really nice to work with make your life easy, and we love real estate. But when we work with somebody, oh my God, I dread getting a call from this person. You got to remember, and the reason why I bring that up, I'm not telling you who to work with, but you're getting a lot of FSBOs, a lot of expireds that are kind of agitated. Oh my God, another agent's calling me. They're frustrated. They're pissed off. They're taking it out on you. As long as you drop that wall, that barrier, that everyone puts up that wall when they feel like there's some resistance coming up or some stress coming up, drop the wall, have a conversation. Is your home still available? If I was to bring you an offer at a price that was acceptable, right? We're having normal conversations. Great, let's jump on a quick Zoom call. And I typically do my Zooms in the evenings. I like to get them all kind of in the round same spot. I do a lot of training, coaching, projects, that kind of stuff, busy stuff during the mornings. And I prospect early morning, late morning, early afternoon. And then I have my meetings from 2 to 7. That's when I typically do some agent coaching, but I do my seller meetings usually in the later afternoon, because I want to get in that rhythm. I would love to schedule 3 listing appointments every single day. And that's my personal business. I want 3 listing appointments every single night. And I don't always get that, but that's what I want. And that's what I prospect for. I prospect for appointments, not for listings. I'm prospecting for appointments so I can get in front of them. And then I can go to Jeff's question about, do I have a listing presentation that I can share? We talked about who to call, what to say, how to schedule the appointment. Thanks, Celeste, for agreeing to meet with me. I have some time tonight at 5, or is 5:30 better? Schedule the appointment, and then boom, it's done. The seller gets a confirmation. I use Calendly, and those of you using ProEdge can probably eliminate Calendly and all that, but I use Calendly still until I get fully up and running on ProEdge. That's what I'm doing for my open houses and my appointments. Once I get the appointment scheduled, I usually schedule a half an hour before every single listing presentation. I don't do any of the heavy lifting because what if somebody just says, yes, I'll meet with you just to get off the phone? And I did all this work because Fizz wasn't expired. That's the nature of the beast. And those are the things that I've learned over time. Everybody, you prospect right now, today's Friday, and you schedule for an appointment, say Monday. You're getting everything ready today. Everything's good to go. Over the weekend, they sell their home, or they list with somebody else, or they decide not to list over the weekend. That's time wasted you'll never get back. What if they're just completely out of their mind? Right? It doesn't take long to prepare, but I always use a half an hour before. I always confirm the morning of, if it's, say today's Friday and my appointment's tomorrow, Saturday, I always confirm Saturday morning. We set the appointment today, Friday, and I'll confirm Saturday morning, and then I confirm 1 hour before. I cannot tell you, oh my God, I'm so glad you called. I'm at my daughter's swim class or whatever, and they forgot. I always schedule that confirmation 1 hour before. Will you be on? I just want to confirm our call today at 5, making sure you have the correct link. Would you like me to email that to you, or you already have it? Okay, good. Because a lot of times they don't accept the invitation you send, so we can't assume. Then we go into the presentation. Who to call, what to say, how to schedule the appointment. Any questions on those 3 things first before we move on? We good? Okay. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to pull up exactly what I do with my listing presentations. And it's just beautiful. It's so much fun. So much fun. I recommend that you have a professional background. This is my training background. I have my company logo, very professional office setting background. I can't tell you how many times, because I coach, train, and mentor agents all over the country. Brand new agents that literally just got in the business. They literally, the only thing they know, and I love sharing this, the only thing they know about real estate is what they learned to take their test. They know nothing. They certainly haven't prospected before, sellers or buyers or investors or agents. So a lot of times, you'll get a Zoom call where like half their face is cut off. You want to kind of eliminate that. So we'll have a conversation. The background has to be professional. It has to be a nice background. I would recommend your company logo, professional, ready. You know what I mean? Because this is a professional. They're in your office, but it's your virtual office. These are my office hours. I'm having office hours with multiple agents all at one time, right? So make sure you're not in your car where it's bouncing around. Ever seen those clients where they're in their car, they're driving with their knee and they're doing all of that? Make sure that the groundwork is set up. Confirm with them that they'll be at their laptop and or computer, whichever one works for them, but try not to be on your cell phone, because I'm going to be going through information. I'm going to be sharing my screen about your property. That's it. You only want to explain that if they give you grief. Oh, no, I'll be driving on the road. It might be difficult to see. Is there a different time that we can meet when you're stationary? Because if they're on their phone and they're not paying attention, they're driving, they're putting their lipstick on, whatever. I had somebody putting their lipstick on and then started smoking. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I digress. My point is, set the stage, set the expectations. Our call should run between 3 and 5 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on your property, depending on your goals. I set the expectations. Hopefully they're on their computer or laptop, so it's a professional presentation. Make sure your background's good. Then you got to confirm an hour before, then you prepare, and then you get on. I always get on at least minimum 5 minutes before the call. I want to make sure everything's perfect. Nothing worse than, oh, my internet's out. Oh my gosh, when you're trying to jump on. Be at least 5 minutes before the call. Making sure your sound's on, making sure your presentation's ready, making sure everything's ready to go. right? No technical errors. You got to act like you've been there. So then I will pull up their property. And then I'm going to share this with you right here. This is just, let's pull up the property. Any property is fine. Here's one in Oceanside. Here's one in Oceanside. Nope, I'm going to call FSBO. Let's call FSBO. Hold on. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you actually how to pull the FSBOs too. I'm going to share my screen with you. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. And Celeste, since you're on my screen, can you see everything okay?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic. Thank you for confirming. I'm going to go into Zillow right here. Let's go to Zillow. See right here, it says buy. Go to buy, and then it'll drop down. It's starting to mend. There we go. And see, so go to buy and go to see for sale by owner. Oh, go back. Come on, go back. I find sometimes that doing it when it's on Zoom, it's a little bit more, there's some delays. Okay, so go to for sale by owner right here. This is free, by the way. You can go to for sale by owner. There's two. This one just popped up. I just saw it. Let's use this as an example. Fantastic home. I've actually reached out to these sellers. Come on now. There we go. Okay, so you're on the call. Hello, Mr. I'm going to use Celeste since you're on the screen. I'm going to use you, Celeste. Is that okay? Celeste is the seller. Celeste, thank you so much for taking the Zoom. I can't wait to go over your property. Do you have any questions for me before we get started?
No.
Okay. Sometimes they'll ask, well, show me your offers. Show me your offers. Well, I don't have time. What do you got? What do you need? What do you know? Sometimes they do that, and sometimes they go, oh, absolutely, my pleasure. You just got to learn how to respond. That's why I like to ask a question, because they have some kind of anxiety leading up to the call. What questions do you have before we get started? Well, Robert, I'm anxious to see what you have to, what would you like to know about my home? I said, well, you know what? Let's get right to it. So I see that your home, I just want to make sure, Celeste, that I have the right address, 5850 Jan Drive. Is that correct? Yes, La Mesa. Okay, fantastic. Then we'll go through the photos. Walk me through the photos, and then I'll say, so it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1204 square feet, correct? Yes. And here's the magic question. I see that you're asking 940. Tell me how you came up with that price. And I just listen. And usually it's, well, you know what? We bought the home as a fixer, and we put on a really good patio, and we decide we're going to try to make $300,000 in profit because of that. Okay. Sometimes they're realistic. Sometimes they're not. It doesn't really matter. But when you're asking those questions, they're going to tell you exactly how they came up with their price. They're going to tell you what comps they've used. Sometimes they've had agents come over and give them their, opinion of value, whatever. It's good to know how they came up with the price. And let's say this price is actually pretty good. So if you go to, can you guys see my screen still? Everything good? Okay, so when you come here, you go down, you can kind of see what kind of views. Now, 27 views, only 1,103 saves. We're averaging just over 10,000 views in 14 days. So this is more than likely a premium without even looking at it. That's a premium for that home. Again, 14 days, just under 10,000 views is much better. Where'd it go? There it is. Sellers, just like anyone else, they go to their Facebook, they go to their social media, and they look at saves, they look at views. They like that stuff. And we're getting a lot of views. This is indicative of what kind of traffic you're going to have at the open house. Less views means less traffic at your open house. It's kind of an easy thing to figure out. I'll see that they've got less views than normal. That tells me they're high. Then I'll go through their property. This is before I meet with them real quick. Then I'll see what their listing history is. They've tried the FSBO method multiple times. They've been trying to rent it for quite some time. They decided, you know what, we're selling it now. So you can kind of see what's going on with the property. You can ask some questions. I see that you've tried to rent it out multiple times. Did you end up renting it for $4,500? Why did you decide to sell it? You listed it in June. You delisted it for rent, and now you're decided to sell. What changed? Why did you decide to sell? Tell me a little bit about the property. Is it an investment? Is it a property you lived in? What's going on? And then we'll go right into the number one question. I just asked them how much they want for their home. Well, how did they come up with 940? In the event that 940 is a little ambitious, I will say, well, here's the thing is my numbers are showing that your home is worth about 850, 860, somewhere in there. So I'm curious, am I missing some comparable sales? You can get, well, 940 is what we want. We know it's worth less, but that's what we want. Okay, at least I know their expectations. I said, how do you think you're going to get to 940? I'm just curious. That's more of a curiosity question. But let's say the seller's ready to go. They're spot on. I'll go, fantastic. I'm assuming you want the highest and best price for your home. Is that correct? Great. Well, my goal, and the reason why we're meeting today, is to provide you with multiple offers that we can present to you. But the more we know about your home, the better we can present it to you. Let me show you what I'm doing. And I have a conversation with them just like this. Let me show what I'm doing to help sellers just like you get the most amount of money for their home. And then I go right into my presentation. I'm assuming, like we talked about, you want the highest and best price. Here's what we're doing. Now, have you noticed a little market shift? I might talk about how much traffic they've had to their open houses, if they've had them, what kind of offers they've had. They've been on the market for 27 days. That's an awful long time to not have at least some showings and a few offers. What kind of traffic you're seeing at your open houses? What kind of traffic in terms of offers? What are you getting in terms of offers? Well, the most calls I'm getting is mostly from agents wanting to list my home. I hear that a lot. I hear 80% of the calls, most sellers I talk to, especially the for sale by owner expired, most of the seller calls, and that's 80% of them. 80% of them, the calls they get are from agents wanting to list their home. So I'll have a conversation with them. Well, let me just show you what our goal is. Our goal is your goal. We're going to bring you multiple offers in 14 days or less. Remember, more eyes equals more offers. Now, right now, you're currently, let's say, a for sale by owner. You're really only on Zillow and maybe Trulia and maybe one other. Our goal is we reach out to every single real estate website on the planet, AKA IDX feed, guys. That's why I don't need to spend any money, because if you price it properly, you're going to hit every single real estate website on the planet. Look at the views we're getting. Keep in mind, they had 27 views, just over 1,100 views in the last, 27 days? Here's one, 14 days, 8,900 views, 789 saves. The reason why I point this out, I'm not going to point out their lack of views and saves. I'm going to bring in, this is what we're doing. Remember, buyers and sellers, they love it. They look at social media, how many likes and shares and comments they get on their social media. They do the same thing on their Zillow profile. This one, 13 days, 6,300. That's a $1.3 million home. This one's 755, a little bit more affordable, but we almost had 9,000 views in 14 days. This is the kind of traffic we're driving to our properties. When buyers compete, sellers win. They can't get this visual. I have sellers coming to me all the time saying, I want this. They point to the line and say, I want this. Because you got to remember, when buyers compete, sellers win. I can tell you, if I was bidding on a home online and it was something my wife and I wanted, she'd be next to me, elbowing me until I kept going, because all of our offers are fully transparent. You can see Josh, you can see our Guillermo. Now you can see how important it is not to be on your phone, because you can't really see it from your phone. So if they're trying to see what you're talking about, it's going to be hard. They're looking at it like that. You can see Josh, Guillermo, Jeff, Guillermo, Mike. You see the point. There's a fully transparent bidding war going on. It only takes two to constitute a bidding war. There it is right there. It's absolutely fantastic. Another great thing is the buyer, should they choose to use an agent, they get to add it to the sales price. It's not out of the seller's pocket. The buyer's paying for it. They get to build it into the sales price. So it's coming out of the seller's gross proceeds, but the buyer has grossed up whatever compensation they would like to pay for their agent. Sellers like that, because why should the seller pay for a buyer agent? That same agent's only job is to compete against our seller. Think about that. Transparency on the offers drives the offers up to its highest point. Guillermo, let's use Guillermo as an example. He's the winning bidder, right? And let's say we go under contract with Guillermo, but he knows that Shayna, Michael, Jeff, and Josh are right behind him. What are the chances of Guillermo coming in for some kind of ridiculous price reduction and or request for repairs or something like that? knowing that Sean is on his heels. If Guillermo is to submit a request for repairs, I'd say, sure, Guillermo, hold on a second. I've got Shauna on the other line. Shauna, is your buyer ready to go? Guillermo, oh, never mind for those requests for repairs. Because it's transparent, it just eliminates the request for repairs, just about. Another thing it gets rid of is buyer's remorse. Buyers are paying way too much for homes, and I'm okay with that. If they want the home, go for it. But what's happening is Guillermo pays too much, and a blind offer. Why the transparency is so good is the blind offers. You get a call from, hey, Celeste, congratulations. Thank you for responding to our seller's highest and best. I wanted to let you know that congratulations. My seller has decided to work with you and your buyer. Remember, blind offers, no idea of where everyone else is. Two things go through Celeste buyer's mind. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh my God, I overpaid. And buyer's remorse is super real. My wife worked in escrow for many years, and she saw a ton, especially during 21, 22, when people are just paying way too much for homes. But anytime there's bidding, we want the highest and best price. We also want the best buyer. We don't want just somebody saying they'll pay that high. We pre-approve, proof of funds, everything is ready to go. So transparent offers eliminates buyer's remorse, eliminates requests for repairs. That's what I explained to the seller. And the transparent compensation lets the buyer pay for their own agent, should they choose one, not out of the seller's pocket. FSBOs love that. Expireds love the 14-day process. It's a win-win for everyone. Now, the reason why I don't have to, pay a bunch of money for marketing is because I let the IDX feed go, right? This is me talking to the agents, but my presentation to the sellers, we have 3 strategies for pricing. Sellers that price it high attract less buyers. Do you agree? Because remember, they've only got 1,100 views in 27 days. That's less traffic. And we've already asked them what kind of traffic you've had, what kind of offers you've had. Every seller that I talk to just about prices it high and negotiates down to meet the buyer. Well, in this case, you price it below market strategically, not ridiculously, strategically below market. You're going to get maximum buyers, therefore get a bidding war. And I tell you what, there's a bunch of samples I'll share with the seller. I'll say, this isn't our first time doing this. We do this all the time. It works. We're getting sellers more money than they wanted. Here's our pricing strategy. For an example, for an 850 home, well, our opening start price would be 722.5. That's strategically below market. If you've got a home that's worth 850 and its starting price is 722, you're going to drive a tremendous amount of traffic. Kathy Ryan, my co-host, usually on Wednesdays and Fridays, she had an open house for 884 people to the open house. That was her picture, the one I showed you before. 884 people. Now I'm averaging between 200 and 400 pretty regularly. I had one just a week or so ago, 170 buyer agents with their buyers and 130 buyers without an agent. That's a good day at the office. Only one person gets the home, but we're driving traffic because we strategically price that property. Now, remember, a lot of sellers go, oh my God, I could never do that. It's important to let them know we've already set up the pricing conversation, because pricing is key. We talked about what they think their home is worth. And then this right here is we're going in. That's great. Your home is worth $850 because we finally agreed. I'll update this price and then we'll move to the conversation. Then I'll take 15% and go to 722.5 start price. Now it's the start price. It's not where you start, it's where you end. We're driving traffic. One thing to keep in mind, the seller reserves the right to accept, counter, or reject any offer. That's real estate 101. So this is the hardest part, but hopefully you set it up properly. So when they do see this, they know it's a strategy, right? Strategically lowering that property to its lowest price and still being realistic, driving tons of traffic. Because look at it as a movie. 100 people show up to the open house. 80 of them may not want to pay a penny more than that opening price, but there's 20% of those buyers that absolutely will do anything to get that home. And they see that property, they see that line up out the open house. That fear of missing out kicks in, and it's serious. So it's just a better way to market a property. Instead of starting high and negotiating down to the buyer, we're starting lower to drive massive traffic, lots of features and benefits. You're getting a whole bunch of buyer activity. Your buyer agents, it's super easy to grow your team with buyer agents, because buyer agents, hey, buyer agent, I have an open house. We should get about five people through the door versus, hey, I have an open house. We should have 500 people through the door. Which one do you think they want to do first? They want to do the one with all the traffic, because they're used to the ones that don't have any traffic, looking around going, oh my God, when's, and then all of a sudden they get a flood of 2 or 3 people, and then it's crickets for another hour or two. I'd rather have somebody drop off a bus with a whole bunch of people and let's do this. I strategically check them in. So they're waiting in line just momentarily, but they're waiting in line. They get to see everybody. But anyway, pricing strategy is key. And the 14-day process is even more so. This is just an example. Friday, June 19th, I met with the seller. We get the market. Our goal is to get the marketing agreement out to him on that day. I don't go live until Monday. And the reason why I do that is because when I was going live on a Friday, and then I would say there's an open house, not this weekend, but the following weekend, every time I get 5, 6, 7 plus agents, I'm outside the open house. There's no one here. Well, look at what does it say in the MLS? What does it say on Zillow? Oh, I see it. It's next weekend. Yeah, they're knocking on my seller's door. So I've learned a few things. So I start on Monday, no showings for that whole week, because sellers don't want a random showings, inconvenience, right? Less hassle, highest and best price, shortest amount of time, least amount of liability, hassle, and expense. We go live on the 22nd. We go in the MLS. We go on the platform. Everything's good to go. What I've started doing is doing coming soon. And even then, agents think the open house is the weekend that they see the property. So I'm just going to stick to Mondays, and it's no showings for the week, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, June 27, in this case, 12 to 4. Sunday, June 28th, in this case, 12 to 3. Those are the showing windows. No showings before, possible showings after, depending on the flexibility of the seller. Because you get somebody that comes in there on Saturday, they want to bring their mom, their dad, their contractor back on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But all offers are due Wednesday by 7 p.m. So you get 3 days to place their offer. So there's some urgency. Then we instruct, it's all done online. So there's no real purchase contract written, because they're placing a number. They're giving us proof of funds and pre-approval and placing their number. If they're outbid, they have the ability to come in and place a higher offer. We let that bidding war go. And then once all bidding's done, Wednesday, 7 o'clock, then each bidder is instructed to submit their full purchase contract with supporting documentation, proof of funds, pre-approval, and they have 24 hours. That's Thursday by 7 the next day. I do offer presentation Friday morning with every seller, every single time, same way, every single time, 14 days from start to finish. Friday, I met with them. Monday, so we get the listing agreement, everything signed starting on Friday. We go live in the MLS on the Monday. We do the open house Saturday, Sunday. We do the offers Wednesday. We under contract on or before Friday, which is 14 days from start to contract. Start to contract. Now, once they go under contract, they'll do a modification of terms, extending the listing agreement to meet the escrow, whatever 30, 40, 60-day escrow contract, under contract. So that's automatically extended. It's in the listing agreement. But a 14-day listing contract is fantastic for sellers that just got to have a 6-month relationship. They don't want to sign some long-term contract. They want to get short and to the point. 14 days is all we need to fill up that buyer pool, get them into the property, let them place an offer, verify their offer with an actual contract, and get it done. 14 days. And then whatever buyer and seller agree to is, if it's 21-day escrow, I'm seeing a lot of 21-day escrows, 21, 30, 45, whatever, doesn't matter. That's between buyer and seller. And I reiterate, and remember, they want to sell their home and they're willing to pay this much to do it. They've already decided that they're paying this much. I go in there and I reiterate, I'd put my percentage that I want. Remember, if they said, I'm not paying any commissions, I've had a couple of people say that. And then I showed them the presentation and 3% was not a big deal. Whatever you decide to charge, that's totally up to you. But this is not a discount model. This is a full service real estate model, listing model. This is not so you can be a discount broker. I mean, you can do anything you want with your business model, but I'm not a discount broker. I just have a better way to get to where we need to go. And it's all done transparently, fully transparent. Celeste talked about that earlier. Being fully transparent is the best way to go, in my opinion. We talked about those buyers that had their highest and best. Very, very few listing agents will tell you where the offers are, let alone show you where the offers are. Oh, don't worry, that's confidential. I can't tell you where the offers are. No, the sellers have to instruct you not to tell. We feel that transparency is much better for all parties. I do a lot of attorney business, probate. When you got heirs, you've got brother, sister, all these people involved, and they all want their own person because they don't trust everyone. Because of the transparency, it's the number one choice, at least that I've seen, for attorneys that work the probate divorce market. Transparency is a big deal. Let everybody see the offers. It helps the seller get the highest and best price. Buyers eliminates the buyer's remorse. So it's transparency is good for everyone. And remember, it's all done in 14 days or less. So at the end of the day, are you ready to get started? And usually what my close is, let me show you something real quick. My close is your home ready on Saturday, June 27th for us to bring all the buyers to it. Well, yeah, I think, that weekend works out. That works great. So let's get started. I will go ahead and send you everything that we talked about today. I will send you the marketing agreement, which is the listing agreement. It's for 14 days. Go through it. If you have any questions whatsoever, you reach out to me. Once I get your approval, I will send it to you via electronic signatures. I use DocuSign. Use anything you like. And I'll get it out to you as soon as they get it signed. Boom, I get started with my listing. That takes me another 30 minutes after I'm done to set up the listing in its entirety. Then we'll get it in the MLS, and then we'll get it on the platform, and then we're ready to go, just like a normal traditional listing. This is a traditional listing. This is just like any other listing you've ever taken, only it's transparent, and there's no offers written until after all the offers have come in. The online offers, there's no RPA written, no contract written. So if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to meet with you. So with that said, that is a long way to explain my listing presentation, Jeff, because I wanted to throw in some nuggets for you, but also that's what the sellers see. Make sense? Questions? Let's go.
Two quick questions that I have. How often do you go over, like, let's say we really want 850. Okay, we're going to price it at 722. They agree to that. Does it happen fairly often where in the bidding war you go over the 850 that they originally wanted?
It does. As long as if I think it's worth 850 and they think it's worth 850, that's the easiest thing to do. And it always goes past that.
Okay.
It gives you always, because worst case, the buyers are adding their compensation. I've had a couple come up to 850, but when you add the buyer agent compensation, it always goes over. As long as we hit our seller's goal price of 850, then you're adding the compensation. That's a win. Yeah. Oftentimes it goes more than that because of the transparency.
And then it seems like, and I'm sorry, Gary, just real quick, it seems like it would give you some good leverage. Let's say the top offer comes in at 825. Like if you brought 100 people through there and they got 15 offers and the top one is 825, you've demonstrated to them that this is the market value of your home.
100%.
Like there's no reason in like let's relist it and put it on at 850 and see what we get. Like that's pointless at that point, I would think.
You hit the nail on the head. That is exactly what worst case what we're providing is market value, what an able, willing, and ready buyer is willing to pay for that home in today's world. So it's what I find sometimes is because we have transparency, and let's say we only got to 825, my next move would be go ahead and send out an email to every single bidder. Congratulations on the process. We appreciate your interest. Now's the time to submit your highest, best, and final contract. Here are the seller's preferred terms and conditions. You have 24 hours. And I'm finding because the transparency, the second, third, sometimes the fourth bidder leapfrog over. I'm not going to tell anyone, oh no, don't write higher. Don't do that. But oftentimes, because of the transparency, they leapfrog over. And I'm okay with that because and it's all fully disclosed because it's all transparent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody has the same right until it's under contract.
I love that. Okay.
But yeah, that's the seller. I've had sellers that only got the 825 for an example, that they go, yeah, you know what? That's as high as we can go. We always send, that highest and best opportunity, but we have somebody that said 825 is my max. That's it. And the sellers, they see it right there on the wall. I've had a couple sellers really battle with, let's do it again. We're going to let that buyer pool fill up, and it's going to be more than likely similar results, if not worse, because remember that first on the market buyer pool is the one that's willing to pay that highest and best price.
Yeah, for sure.
Bird in hand. Yeah.
Bird in the hand, exactly. Yeah. But because it's transparent to not only the buyers and agents, the sellers also see that. They're calling me all the time, sending me selfies. They're like, they have it up on their big screen. They're going, hey, they got a glass of wine. And but they see the transparency. So that's what people are willing to pay for my home. It helps them with that decision. So I don't have to.
Hey, Robert.
Yeah.
So I had a couple questions here. So you go over price, they add their commission and it goes over the price that you were asking. They do an appraisal, the appraisal doesn't come in where it's supposed to be. So we go back in negotiation with the seller there who is a for sale by owner. Do you ever have that challenge there?
I've had that challenge maybe 2 or 3 times, because remember, if you know anything about appraisals, they have a 3 to 5% variance, and their job is to basically validate the sales price, not contradict the sales price. Their job for the bank is saying, hey, we've got a purchase price of X, go justify it. And usually they justify it within a 3 to 5% range.
Yeah.
Remember, in the event, let's say the appraisal came back at low and the seller goes, oh, well, I'm not paying the difference. Who wrote that offer initially? Who's the one that drove that price up to that point? The buyer.
Buyer.
So why do you think I asked for proof of funds and pre-approval?
Yeah.
Proof of funds. Do you have the down payment? Do you have the closing cost? And do you have, if I feel it's a property that's going to be tight,
Right.
I need to make sure that if somebody wants it real bad, they're going to show us that how they can cooperate. Right. They can actually fulfill that agreement. It's not happened. It's not happened.
And there were, in the past, I haven't seen this except for what may be on a rare occasion from a flipper, that they write an offer higher than they really meant to, and then they come in afterwards and they try to break it. After they get the accepted offer, they come back in and say, well, I want you to reduce it because we found this wrong with the property. And so
I get that all the time. Those are investors. That's what we're doing. We're weeding out those types of people.
Yeah.
I have nothing against investors. I love my investors, but they never win any of my properties. Hey, Robert, do you have anything off market that I can get a deal on?
Yeah.
Why would I let that happen? Because
there are people out there doing that too, besides investors, but I can see where it's probably rare that you see that.
I set up every single property to achieve the highest and best price possible. I don't care who buys it. I know it's going to be more than an end user than a flipper. Even if the property's banged up, the end user flipper is better than the for-profit flipper.
Right.
They just don't get my properties.
And a termite, how do you deal with a termite request for repairs or anything like that? Is it?
I typically, if it's health and safety issues, I suggest the sellers get those addressed before. Remember, we have 5 days before we let anyone see the home. First question. Gary, do you have any health and safety issues with your home? Let's get those addressed.
Do you ask them to do a termite report?
I typically don't in front. I come from the REO days where we don't, less is better. Now, if there's going to be some termite things like, whoa, we got some termite stuff here, then you may want to get that addressed. Sure. At least get a report and offer that report to the buyer coming in.
Right.
But I typically try to stay away from any and all reports if at all possible, because that's on the buyer.
Yeah, I just try to get, the more I think that I disclose, the less chance of it falling out of escrow for arguing,
Well, yeah, if it's something that's like, whoa, this thing's caving in because of termite,
Right.
then yeah, you want to get that addressed. But if
Sure.
it's just your typical fascia, aging, then
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
The less inspections, the better.
Sure.
But if sellers have them, then absolutely we disclose that. Put it right into the platform, attach them. HOA docs, solar docs, any inspections, anything. We want them to make full, clear, everything's transparent up front. Because what I don't want is to be secretive, and then they pay that high price. Then we disclose everything. They're like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah. So maybe you know something I don't, but typically for the HOAs, I can't get the docs until we get a buyer. When you're going through escrow, they want to know who the buyer is, and then they submit requests for HOA docs.
Yeah, no, and I'm doing that right now. I get as much as I can in terms of HOA docs.
Yeah.
Because like I just have a foreclosure that we just did a sheriff's lockout last week, and I'm trying to get a hold of the HOA, and we're bouncing back and forth. They didn't realize it was a foreclosure because I need the updated HOA
Right.
documents. I need to get as much as I can. I'll upload everything I can, and the title company usually has your CC&Rs and that kind of thing.
All right. Thanks. So,
What other questions, guys? I know we kind of went over a
But
little bit.
yeah,
Good.
real quick, what software or platform do you use to hold your auction or bidding?
I list.
Oh, you do all that through iList. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm going to show you. I'll pull it up real quick because let me just pull this up real quick. I'll show you what it looks like. It's so cool. iList is the cash offers. Seller Assist is the online offers. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's see if that shows up. It's pretty slick. There's the Seller Assist. Let's see. FA. Let's see. Of course, I'm at my. There it is right here. I'm at my podcast desk, and it's my working computer's over here. So let me see if I can pull it up for you on this one. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so here, can you see the screen? Or I stopped sharing, didn't I? Let me.
Yeah, we don't see it.
I'm going to share my screen real quick with you. Here's the properties right here. So this is the iList cash offers platform. Here's a property search, and here's all the properties I have. So let me give you an example. This is a sample I started using just to give an explanation. Here's the property address. There's the starting price. There are all the photos. I only have 5 images. There's the counter. Can you see it?
Mhm.
That's the counter. The offers are due in 5 days. That creates urgency. Here are the offers, the cash offers. When you go into this property, let me show you what I'm talking about. Compare offers right here. Here's the cash offers. So I run cash offers immediately. Here's all the cash offers that I have. I can pick the ones that work for me and bring them on over. And that's what I've done. They're all right here. See how you can see the offers? Now the open house is Saturday and Sunday. So more than likely I would want these off. I would take them out so nobody sees them. But once the open house comes in Monday morning, I will go ahead and upload all the cash offers that are relevant. Now I don't do the way low ones. I'm just using that example. If you got a list price of 1190 and you got an 830, that doesn't do the property justice. So you probably only want the 1 or 2 offers that are close to that initial start price. This gets the activity going because when buyers go, oh, there's no offers. Oh, it's not a popular property. There are offers, but they just won't see them until Monday. And I explain that in the terms and conditions. It's super easy to place an offer. All you do is you click make offer. If they're an agent or if they're not, doesn't matter. Then an email will get to that buyer or that agent with a link to their own offer link. Here's all my contact information. Here's the description of the property. Here's the map of the property. You can do a video of the property. Sometimes people like to have a video. Here's the offer instructions. And does anyone know what RDR is? Realtors don't read. But that anyway, here's their offer instructions, right? I didn't make that up, by the way. I heard it from one of my mentors. And to this day, I just crack up because it's so true. Here's all the offer instructions, when the offers are due, The seller has the right to accept counter offers, offer submission deadline. There is a deadline, highest and best submission. Following the close of the online offers period, the listing broker may invite one or more verified bidders to determined by the seller listing broker, and they submit their highest best. And just because they didn't win, they weren't the highest, we're still inviting them, right? And they get all that information as soon as they click in. And then here's the terms and conditions, which our attorneys at our company wrote up. So we make it real simple. If they want to get financing, I'd like them to use my lender, at least cross qualify with my lender, because there's nothing worse. Nothing blows a deal up more than having a buyer that doesn't qualify. So here's the platform. Everything goes in here. When it goes into the MLS, you go to the MLS, you make sure your open house is in there. I say by appointment only showings, I don't call it an open house. I call it by appointment only showings. And then I send them this link because it's 2 clicks away from the MLS, because that you can't talk about compensation through the MLS most cases. So this right here, when they go in here to make an offer, when they click this, they'll get their own link. So it's 2 clicks away. So you can have compensation in there.
Can you make that a little bit bigger? Is this where they also go to make the appointment?
Make the appointment for what?
For the open house.
Yeah, they can request a tour right here.
Oh, gotcha.
And but the open house link is usually in the MLS. It says by appointment only, here's my Calendly link. And I'll have 15-minute increments. Those are for agents, because you can't put private links in public remarks. Then when somebody inquires about the process, then I'll send them the link. I'll send them the buyer link. Hey, Robert, can you send me more information on 123 Main Street? You bet. I'll text it right over to you right now. Then they get this. Everybody gets this. Buyers get it from them reaching out to you. If they don't reach out to you and they just show up to the open house, they will get this link upon check-in. Make sense?
Okay. And what's your check-in process like at the open house?
Well, basically, I would set up right here in the driveway. I have a table, 2 chairs, an easy up, a couple of signs directing them to my check-in before they walk in. Now, if this one doesn't have a sidewalk, it depends. I may go ahead through the garage and start it that way, and then have people exit this way and have one of my agents over here checking in. Hey, so Celeste, tell me what was your feedback? See, because this doesn't have a walkway, and I don't want to terrorize the seller's lawn. So I'll have somebody here checking them in, have them go through the garage if it works, and then go through that. And then I'd have somebody here just making sure, getting all the feedback. So I check them in, they get a link. Okay, Celeste, I don't know your name when you're coming in. Hi, who am I checking in? Boom. Okay, Celeste, thank you. Give me your cell phone. I'll text you the information, the pre-copied text, and it goes right to your phone. Please confirm. Okay, good. The reason why I do that is I want to make sure that's the right number. How many times have we given out a bunk number? Oh yeah, my number's 555-122, whatever. But if I goes to them and they text, bing, there it is. Okay, I go to their phone. I said, see right here, that's the link. Click this, tells you everything you need to know. Go ahead and go to the home. If they're with an agent, I'll send that to the agent. If they're a buyer without an agent, or at least present with an agent, I will send it to the buyer, and I'll have one of my buyer agents walk them through the home, build the relationship, and walk them through the outdoor, and they come back in and take another buyer. Everybody goes in. My goal is to have buyers bumping into each other in the kitchen, but not like uncomfortably. I won't just flood everybody. A lot of people show up right in the beginning of the open house time. So that's when it's the busiest. But because I'm staggering the appointments with the agents, I'm staggering those showings every 15 minutes from 12 to 3, 12 to 4, whatever. But I check them in, they get the QR code, we go through the property, go through the process, and then they go. I mean, there's a whole process behind that. I have an open house protocol that starts on Monday, goes through Friday, and then what to do checking in, and then what to do following up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Offers due 7 o'clock on Wednesday. Did I answer that question?
It's excellent.
Go ahead, Jeff.
No, I just said that. I mean, this is excellent. Are you going to have this up on your YouTube channel later
Yeah,
on?
yeah, I'll put this on as soon as I'm finished.
Yeah, because I want to watch it again here at some point
Yeah.
over the weekend. Would it be possible? And I don't know if you're able to do this, and if not, it's totally good. Can you share your listing presentation?
Can I
Is
share
that
it?
something you do? Yeah.
It's particular to my coaching clients, but I
Okay.
think I
Okay.
might have already sent you a copy of it.
I don't think I have it.
Yeah, I will get you. Make sure you get a copy.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate it.
And it'll be in this slideshow too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Questions?
Good.
We're at the top of the hour. Actually, heading down to the bottom of the hour. I appreciate you guys being. I hope this is helpful. This just is my place to just share whatever it is you're wanting to know. I want to be a resource for you, and I hope you guys come back every week with success stories. Hey, I prospected and talked to this for sale by owner first time ever. Woohoo! Here's what they said. I couldn't quite understand what they said. So I get that. That happens. Some people don't know how to respond. Reach out to me. I'd love to be a resource. I'd love to brainstorm. Hey, Robert, I got a seller. Here's what they're saying. I have no idea how to answer this. Send me over the text. Let me help you. Let me answer. Let me tell you what I would say. And you can look at that and go, I'm never saying that. That's okay. At least you get my opinion, and I want to be available for you. That make sense?
So Robert, that was iList you were showing us, and you said there's a seller assist.
So iList is the cash offers platform. Seller Assist is the online offers platform. But it's iList Technology owns both platforms, and it's white labeled to 14-day home offers. Got it? I think you should have all received. If you would like, I could send you everything we talked about today. If you want to send me your email address, I will send you. And let me give you my email address. I'm going to put it in the chat. And you guys can decide if you want to reach out to me. More than happy to guide you in the right direction. I'm going to put it in the chat. It's Robert@robertweichelt.com. Let me sure I spelled my name right. Robert@robertweichelt.com. So it's Robert@robertweichelt.com. I'm putting it in the chat. That looks right. Yes. So if you would like to know more information, reach out to me. You should have received the QR code opportunity. Maybe rewind this back a little bit, pull up the QR code, goes right to my calendar. And other than that, man, it's been what a great day. What a fantastic call today. And if there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. And if not, we'll see you guys in escrow.